Hey everybody, and welcome back to Interrogation. You will be deceived. Seems like we're getting pretty close to the big baddies. So let's go ahead and jump right in there. Everybody succeeded. We mentioned bad things about the internal affairs guy, but he definitely deserved it. Unfortunately, this is not an article about the internal affairs man. Morty called. The flight the four were on is about to take off. So these were the big wigs and the head honchos of the terrorist organization that we were going after. He doesn't technically have a warrant, and it seems the air marshals won't let him take all of four of them. I mean, all four of them? Whatever. They'll only give him two. Says he can handle escorting them himself. It's a procedurally stupid decision, but Morty will need a decision now. You'll have to tell him the two persons you want brought in from the four suspects. I'm afraid I have more bad news on top of that. Uh-oh. Abraham Jamail just called. The top hotshot criminal lawyer, Honest Abe, from the TV commercials. Oh, we know him. The other guy said he was Honest Gabe or something, right? So he's involved. Turns out he's been hired by anonymous parties to represent all of the four suspects in the plane. Of course so. Of course he has. The moment he's here, you can consider the interrogation over. All we have is circumstantial. He's fortunately coming in from outside of town, so Morty should be able to bring in your chosen two a bit earlier than his arrival. You simply must draw from them some sort of confirmation of who might be the Liberation Front leadership before he arrives. Alright, who should Morty bring in? We can only get a hold of two of them. Valerie Arnett. Well, we know she was the concierge that we put her thing back together. Valerie Arnett works for the exclusive travel agency that arranged all the other trips to Phnom Penh. Annabelle Lee, really? That's not her real name. Can't be. Reputed sociology and anthropology professor. Scheduled to speak at a conference. Alright. Dennis Schmidt. A dentist with no criminal record, flying alone. A quick background check reveals that he recently got engaged. And Damascus Reed. A well-known entrepreneur and the driving force behind the recent tech business boom. This is not good enough for me to know. Let's go, I mean, this is completely random. Let's go Annabelle Lee, just because of the name. And certainly, you know, since she's a sociologist, she must have something to do with this. And Damascus Reed. Let's go for him. Good. I'll inform him. I have no idea who these people are, but let's see. After searching the apartment of Alexa Brown, a person we suspect was handling or has handled the flight arrangement for the front's leadership, we've identified a flight booked for 3 people and their company handler head to Phnom Penh, Cambodia. I'm sure I'm pronouncing this completely wrong. Any local Cambodians could tell me exactly what I'm doing wrong. Without a warrant and sufficient time to obtain one before the flight took off, Mordecai has personally picked up and is now escorting 2 of the 4 people on the list back to the police station. All the information points towards them being part of the leadership of the front, or at least, at the very least, closely connected to them. The suspects seem to be willing to answer questions, but the lawyer, Abraham Jamail, Honest Abe, is currently on his way. He will likely pull them out of questioning and prevent us from interacting with the suspects until we have a warrant. Not to mention, pursue potential claims against us for the unlawful detainment. As well as, when this happens, the leadership of the front would most likely be alerted to our actions, and we would lose a vital opportunity in detaining the very top of the Liberation Front, so that must mean this mission is timed. We have one Annabelle Lee, reputed sociologist and anthropology professor, regularly holding and attending lectures. She has published numerous studies and has received honorary distinction for her work analyzing the societal behavior in failed states. Her international presence would allow her to coordinate front actions abroad, and her connections in academia would be the fuel behind the ideological engine of the front. And one Damascus Reed. Damascus Reed is a well-known entrepreneur, philanthropist, writer, and business guru. His ability to disrupt markets through innovation and extremely fast expansions has given him a reputation as a visionary among his peers. His companies, specializing in cutting-edge technology and big data, have seen great successes over the last few years. As a CEO, he's been accused of imposing long work hours and creating a highly stressful work environment. He certainly would have the money to fund the Liberation Front, as well as important connections to powerful people, nationally and abroad. Judging by his tax returns, he is proficient in moving his money around untracked. Alright, go ahead and bring him in. Do we have a timer? How much timer? 10 minutes. We're not really good at these timed missions, but let's give it a go. Greetings, Miss Lee, or should I call you Lady Luck? A much more suitable name for the occasion. Lady, I'm the only thing standing between you and a terrorism charge. You better cooperate with me. Or good day. Excuse my colleague for interrupting your trip, but we need your help in a high-level terrorism investigation. Yeah, let's be a little bit snarky there. Okay, she did open up to a little bit there. Of course, officer. You shall have my full cooperation. However, first of all, I would like to know the charges that are being brought upon me. Currently, you're suspected of leading a terrorist organization, the Liberation Front. Miss Lee, don't fuck with me here. You know this is about being the leader of the Liberation Front. No, I mean, there's no reason to get into hostile words right now. Come on, we're all friends here. Okay, she's a little less, actually, she is more afraid of you because it went from negative to 0. I understand. That's a very strong accusation, officer. One I doubt you can back up. Very well, let us start. As you say, officer. Some questions about your conference? Let's discuss your background as an activist for a second. How come two people who don't know each other have the same lawyer coming to represent them? I have some questions about the few other people that you were on the plane with. Let's talk about the Liberation Front. It's clear you're the leader of the Liberation Front. Drop the act right now. Let's go for the questions. Questions about your conference. And to those which may be pertinent to your investigation and not a useless invasion of my privacy, I will gladly answer. You were to speak at this conference? Yes, that's why I was going there. Oh, these are a lot of questions. These are so many questions. This is going to be a waste of time. We're already down to 9:35. Your participation at the conference was only recently announced and barely advertised. Care to explain? I'm sure you're invited to numerous conferences. Why go to this one so far away from your home? What did you plan to speak about? The title of my talk was The Art and Discourse, the Unseen Covalence. Alright? Are you seriously going to preach communism in a country ravaged by the exploits of the Khmer Rouge? Officer, please do not confuse academic scientific talks with religious sermons. And how long will this conference last? Scheduled to last for 3 days. Alright, that was completely useless. Have you been there before? No, I have not. How did you get the tickets? I employed a travel agency, as one does, okay? Let's discuss your background as an activist. We're all activist, officer, whether we realize it or not. Oh god, these are so many questions, it's gonna waste all my time. Why did you decide to dedicate your life to academia? Only Hollywood thinks that the path humans end up walking in life is decided in a tension-filled, memorable moment. I slowly grew into this lifestyle, bit by bit, just like the rest of us. Alright, then there's so many questions. Socialism, communism failed whenever they've been implemented. Aren't you too idealistic? Isn't it hypocritical of a self-proclaimed Marxist to fly first class? Can the tenure of a university professor cover first class flight expenses? So, Miss Lee, other than your career, what else do you dedicate your time to? I do wonder, Miss Lee, how does one with your background end up becoming the leader of a terrorist organization? Just right out there. What do you do in your spare time, Miss Lee? You got a little angry about that. Well, see, officer, now that we are talking hobbies, well, given the relaxed nature of this conversation, may I ask for a cup of coffee? V60, please. I must confess, coffee is a small passion of mine, so it would only be fitting. Yeah. So tell me, Can the tenure of a university professor cover first-class flight expenses? Officer, if you want to check my tax returns, please do. You may find it amazing how much people can do with their income when they see beyond the lies of consumerism. Isn't it a little hypocritical for you to fly first class? Oh, she didn't like that. Isn't it immoral for airline companies to make billions in profits off the suffering of those unfortunate enough to have to fly in the aberrant and crowded conditions of economy class? So I don't think we're getting anywhere here. How come two people who don't know each other have the same lawyer? I was not aware of any lawyer. Also, the law states you should have informed me and waited for him before pursuing any line of questioning. I just made you aware, and I'm informing you right now. Waiting for your lawyer might limit our options. Let's explore a solution together. Miss Lee, please go ahead and shut up until your lawyer arrives. Things might go bad. I made you aware right now. Oh, thank you kindly. His name is Abraham Jamail. What do you know about him? Why has this lawyer been contacted to represent all the suspects? Or who would pay for such a reputed lawyer? Do you know Abraham? He's a man, most likely a second-generation immigrant. His father probably plays golf. But the best you can do, Professor? Simplifications and generalizations? I'm disappointed. I was not asking about his demographic profile. I want you to know what your connection to him is. So you admit to knowing the man. I told you lying to me wouldn't get you far. No, let's not go crazy. I was not asking about his demographic profile. Some spiritualists say all are connected, and I assume they are right in a sociological kind of way. Man, what is wrong with my tongue today? Why has this lawyer been contacted? She's like, I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know. Who would pay? I don't know, but your interest only proves you understand the unlawfulness of your actions. Yeah, whatever. I have some questions about the other people on the plane. Do you know Dennis Schmidt? No. Do you know Valerie Arnett? No. Do you know Damascus Reed? The name does ring a bell, but I can't say I know who he is. Okay, so we've completely run out of time. Well, not really. Let's talk about Liberation Front. Their eyes lock onto yours. Very well. What's your opinion of the Liberation Front? I believe it is an organization that any humanist scholar could study, or should study. As a scholar, what do you view as the main difference between other terrorist organizations and the Liberation Front? Does not seem to they seek the personal acquisition of power, merely they want to restructure the social order, as do you. Do you agree with their means? Moral judgment can only be made comparatively. Violence is appalling, yet historically effective. What do you believe? Moral relativism is the tool of tyrants and oppressors. It's true. What we consider immoral now was normal 100 years ago. It's all a matter of context. Oh, trust me, I employ effective means as well. Moral relativism is the tool of tyrants and oppressors. Okay, she kind of opened up about that. I truly hope those are not just empty words, officer. Do you agree with their motives? Their motives are unoriginal, but that does not mean they are not valid. Oppression deserves opposition, wouldn't you agree? They're nothing but deranged criminals, and they'll face justice. Their frustrations are understandable, yet many of their members are misguided. I'm sure that's what they said about the French revolutionaries at the time. Yeah, we're saying that a lot in We the Revolution. Yet they changed our world forever. I heard the front has cut off support for imprisoned members, Annaba. What do you think about that? Perhaps they trust their members to remain loyal, even without their support. Alright, we don't know anything, so let's jump over to Damascus. What do you got, Damascus? Greetings, Mr. Reed, or should I call you Lady Luck? I will jump straight to the point, or good day. Good day, sir. Terrorism. You really think I'm linked to that? I'm sure the truth is nuanced. That is why I'm here to ask questions. Mr. Reed, don't insult my intelligence by acting surprised. You knew this day would come. Yeah, I'm just here to ask a few questions. Look, I don't know who is trying to take a swing at me with this. You must have been manipulated into believing this absurd story. Very well, Mr. Reed, let's start. Can you tell me why you're flying to Phnom Penh? I had several business meetings. You say this was supposed to be a business trip. I have some questions about that. Have you been there before? How'd you acquire the tickets? I have an assistant. Okay. Let's discuss your background as a businessman. Sure, biographical conversation. Exactly how I plan to spend my day. How'd you become a businessman? I see a problem. I can't help thinking of ways to fix it. Looks like people are willing to pay for that. On average, most millionaires have inherited a large portion of their initial wealth, so stop posing. On average, most of the entrepreneurs in the tech industry like yourself are really self-made. I appreciate that. Let's butter them up. There you go. You're scoring some good flattery points here, cop. Well, yes, I am. Thank you. That's what I was trying for. What's your secret in business? You could just keep your eyes open and think of what could make people happy. Then you design something that would make them happy. Hard work also helps. I'm sure it takes more than that, otherwise we would all be rich. And those who can't afford it don't deserve to be happy? Yeah, let's not go that route. Let's not go that route. We don't want to upset the man. We're trying to be friendly with them. I'm sure it takes more than that. I'm sure it's just more than just hard work. I'm sure you've got something special going on, sir. There you go. Of course, you then also have to put in the hours and take the risks. But it all starts with a desire to make the world a better place. Don't you believe capitalism and the free market leaves many behind? You often claim you're rich. What do you do with all your money? I know Torpix, your news app, manipulated news results before. Why? Let's not say bad things about capitalism, because he seems to really appreciate capitalism right now. What do you do with your money? That did not damage him. Okay. I usually reinvest it. I'm not interested in private jets and luxury residences, if that's what you're asking. You have any hobbies then? Ooh, he didn't like that. We're not dating here, cop. Sorry. Just wanted to know. Tell me about Torpix. It was only an experiment. We were trying to determine what sort of news people engage with more. Those methods could easily be used to promote certain types of views, liberation friendly, let's say. I understand you need to keep people engaged. The more news they read, the better. There you go. We put it back. Pretty much. We've also found that if the news they didn't like popped up in their feeds, they wouldn't engage with it anyways. Alright. Let's have some more discussions. Let's talk about your lawyer. I was not aware of any lawyer up until now. I decided to entertain myself by talking to you. A rich guy like you has the lawyer on speed dial, so drop the bullshit. Very well. Consider yourself notified of this fact. It's your right to seek legal counsel. I was just curious. Consider yourself notified. Thank you for the memo. Do you know Abraham Jamail? Never heard of the guy. Why would this guy have been contacted to represent all the suspects? I don't know. Seems like huge expense to me. Definitely does. If this is not your lawyer, do you have any idea why someone would pay for another high-level lawyer to represent you? Okay, fine. If it matters so much to you, yes, I called the man. You did? Interesting. Why lie about him coming to represent you? First rule we all learn is to not talk to the cops. Well, yeah. Okay. I have some questions about some of the other people. Do you know Dennis Schmidt? Do you know Valerie Arnett? Not really, but I like the ring of that name. Do you know Annabelle Lee? Is she the daughter of Hector Lee? I dated her once, but no. Her name was Alyssa Lee. Different person. Let's talk about the Liberation Front, sir. What's your opinion of them? As long as they don't disrupt my operations, I don't much care about them. You don't care about them? Stocks often drop in times of instability. Have you been shifting your portfolios to accommodate this? He opened up a little bit. You're right, of course. I've been shifting my investments away from government bonds. They usually drop the hardest in times of civil unrest. Do you agree with the means of the Liberation Front? I like their PR, but of course I don't agree with their violent behavior. What about their down with the government message? What about their down with the system message? What about their down with the rich message? What about their down with the government message? Oh yeah, there you go. Sign me up for that, sure. Yep, so you want all regulations to go away so you can make more money. I understand you. Do you agree with their motives? How they're doing things? Or why they're doing things? They don't have assumed any demands or even objectives, so how could I? Just means they will fight aimlessly, destroying everything people like you have built. That just means they don't have any objective at all. I think that means they will just fight aimlessly. Well, let's just hope you stop them before that happens, no? I heard the front has cut off support for Liberation imprisoned members, Reed. Well, good thing I don't plan on visiting any prison anytime soon. Well, I haven't gotten anything out of you. Let's go back to Annabelle Lee. Let's talk about guys on the plane. Let's talk about the lawyer, maybe. Hold on. Can we talk about the lawyer? Both you and Mr. Reed are saying that you have employed this lawyer. Did she say that she employed the lawyer? She said she didn't know the man, didn't she? Why'd you lie to me about the lawyer? Both you and Mr. Reed are saying that you have employed this lawyer. I don't remember that. Maybe I just overlooked that. Did you employ him together? I assume his reputation makes him sought after, and in this interesting coincidence, nothing more. Why'd you lie to me about the lawyer, ma'am? You may not be the only one probing the other's personality here, officer. No, Miss Lee, you just knew that keeping an expensive lawyer on hold may look self-incriminating in front of a jury. Miss Lee, I'll ask you to please refrain from playing such small games. Let's be honest with each other. I understand. Then I hope you come to the conclusion that I'm operating by the book here. Yeah, we're operating by the book. We'll see for how long that holds up. Well, I've not gotten very far. Not at all, and we're running out of time. So let's just press it. It's clear you're a leader of the Liberation Front. Drop the act right now. Now, I'm probably going to say this to this guy. Drop the act right now, man. I can't trust you as far as I can throw you, cop. If you know my reputation, you know you have nothing to fear from working with me. Yeah, I think you're someone who can be reasonable and cool-headed. I ain't confessing shit. But let's say I can give you some advice. Oh, really? What sort of advice are we talking about here? I need a confession, not your advice. Very well, Mr. Reed. Let's see if you are as good as they say you are. Let's say, what sort of advice are we talking about here? I've run international operations, had to establish networks, motivate people, recruit. I've done it all. I need a confession, not your advice. I mean, yes. I mean, I don't want to go. Like, this is hard because I don't want it to seem like, oh, you worked with the guy, you let him go. But let's go for it. Let's go. Very well, Miss Reed. Let's see if you're as good as they say you are. Deal. Tell me what you want to know. Oh, this is so many things. How does an organization, especially a violent one, fund itself? They don't have a revenue source. They haven't been robbing banks, ain't selling drugs. Someone is funding them. And in return, they create circumstances for profits elsewhere. In return, they harm their competitors. And in return, they get to influence the agenda on the Liberation Front? There you go. Yep. Yeah, I guess so. How does organization like Liberation Front recruit its members? I think it's more they wait for people to show interest and only then approach them. How do they remain hidden? Same way my tax returns do, relying on the incompetence of the authorities. Too much? How do they stay united when their members have different ideologies? If their people have something to do, constant activity, they have no time to debate. Yeah, we know that. What's the organizational structure of a terrorist organization? They're probably organized in different groups, all of them operating independently, reporting periodically to some sort of central authority. Yeah. How do they plan an attack? They make sure to split responsibilities and make sure that any target they pick furthers their PR agenda. Okay, we're running out of time here, dude. They must be working with established criminal networks to get weapons and explosives. Yes, well, that would be necessary, of course. What's your point? These criminals have no loyalty to any ideological cause. They would rat the front members out if given the opportunity. Perhaps, but I can only assume that the front is willing to take the risk. What does an extremist organization do with members who go rogue and betray the organization? You mean if they rat out? I don't think they care much. No one holds enough information to harm the whole thing. And how is an organization like the Liberation Front led? They have their hands in many pies and handle many things at once. I think they have a small core of dedicated people pulling strings and coordinating. Yeah, like you? How many leaders would be ideal for such an organization? Would leaders have any hierarchical structure between them? What would happen if a number of the leaders would leave? Then the others would run things as they see fit, of course. Wouldn't the leaders wish to prevent such a perversion of their organization? Maybe, if they don't trust the ones left to do good work. How many leaders? Probably just an administrative board. It would have to be uneven to break ties. And would they have any kind of structure? Not an official one. Okay. I need your expertise on organizational structures and relations with a few matters. That must go back to the question we had before. Yeah. And then Mr. Reed, it's kind of cut off there. Mr. Reed, this interview needs to end. Confess, call off the attack, and tell me who your associates are. Even if I was who you say I am, I really wouldn't be in my best interest to work with you. Nuts. Well, let's go for her. It's clear you're a leader of Liberation Front. Drop the act right now. Nope. Nope. Well, I guess that's it. We've run out of opportunities. Socialism and communism failed whenever they've been implemented. Let's go with this. There's no reason not to. Okay. Crime continues to happen wherever police existed. Do you abandon your ideals, or do you learn and make a better attempt? There's no better alternative to the police. In the case of socialism, there are obvious alternatives. And how do you plan on improving upon that? Only massive social and cultural change could allow for an economy without private property to work. Yes, that's what she wants. And only those who strive for change and improvement will not be accomplices to the perpetuation of today's suffering. Huh. Like, did we just need to get him at 10 and we failed? Is that what the deal is? Okay. There's something that's opened up. Both you and Miss Lee are saying you employ this lawyer. Did you employ him together? I have no idea. I guess people are hard to find, you know? I mean, let's go for it. How does one with your background end up being the leader of a terrorist organization? I don't even know, cop. That must be some theory swirling in that brain of yours. I think you're bored. The world is your fingertips and nothing can stimulate you anymore. I think you're somehow profiteering from this whole thing. I guess you feel held back by all those laws and regulations. Oh, he didn't like that. What? And bribes have suddenly stopped working? Come on, be real. He did not like that. Have you been there before? Okay, I think we're just out of time. I think we picked the wrong choices somewhere along the way. Okay, so this is something different now. The interview needs to end. Confess. Call off your next attack. Is it maybe because he's more afraid now? I can't give you what you want, cop. That's not how this works. You can either go to prison and let the Liberation Front be stolen from you, or you can give me something I can use. Look, I can't give you what you want, but let's make a deal. I'll give you the names of 2 of the people you really should talk to, potentially triumvirs of this front, and then I'll talk to my lawyer. Did we do it? Somehow? How did that happen? Achievement unlocked, now or never. I don't know what we did. I guess we scared him into saying it? Now bring these 3 together for questioning. Today, while pursuing leads pertaining to our ongoing investigation of the Liberation Front, Peace and Stability Special Unit officers approached several individuals who we believe to hold valuable information, suspect of having ties with the terrorist organization, were new to be connected to Liberation Front leadership. No, suspected of having ties. All of these individuals were scheduled to fly to Cambodia, and due to time constraints, our officers found it necessary to delay their flight in order to consult them, arrest them, just to consult them. Airport authorities fully cooperated with our request, and we were able to establish contact. 2 of these people agreed to come in for questioning, were apprehended and questioned, were taken by force given the urgency of the situation. No, they agreed to come in, and their input was very valuable. At this point, no official charges have been made against any of these individuals, but we continue to investigate the situation. There you go. Send that off on the wire. There you go. Liberation Front nears critical mass. Let's read these little bits here. The theft that makes the world work. Capitalism is powerful. It only has one problem. Its very core is rotten. From the very first moment an owner took an employee. Who is the Mountain Man? A special task force was dispatched yesterday by helicopter to a remote location in the mountains, where a man was brought in rush to police headquarters. Authorities have refused to comment on the identity of this man, which comes as no surprise. Or, you owe me money. Yes, you. Reading this. You can send it to charity, though. The theft that makes the world work. Annabelle Lee. So, yeah. So, that's her thing about capitalism. And here's the bit about the Mountain Man, and Damascus Reed says, you owe me money. Okay, well, I'm sure those are all important and insightful reads, but I'm not reading them. Let's just continue until we get to the next piece, and then we'll end the episode. Hello, Mr. Honest Abe. Well, detective. You've had quite the field day with my clients in my absence, haven't you? Only what they chose to tell me, counselor. Well, with them being so innocent, I'm sure it hasn't been a problem. Or how exactly do you sleep at night representing terrorists? Only what they chose me to tell. Or chose to tell me. That's the word. That's how you phrase that sentence. Detective? Well, that's quite as the Brits say, cheeky now, isn't it? Alas, despite their dismal treatment, I've been talking to Mr. Miller and Chief Anderson here. And because all 3 of my clients are of completely good intent, the good gentleman and I have reached an agreement. We will not press charges against the abusive police practices thus far, and they will even be willing to discuss with you, detective. Recorder stays on throughout, or else they leave. However, all of this under the condition that nothing of what one says can be used in their own incrimination. Yes? No? False? You've signed documents to that effect. How could you do it, Chief? Wonderful. Let's get this over with. Can't believe you fools signed something like that. I see what you did there, Chief. I can work with this. Are you fucking Liberation Front? Why would you sign something like that? I mean, yes, I'm thinking this, yes, but let's not. Can't believe you fools signed something like that. We had to sign it given the context, but it's an opportunity. Indeed, the wording allows for a window. They can't self-incriminate, but they can incriminate others. But nothing prevents them from incriminating one another. I gotcha. You need to turn them against each other. Go get them. This is for all the marbles. Take down the Liberation Front. Alright, well this is where we end the episode, and I guess the next episode will be the last, it seems. This must be their logo, Liberation Front's logo. Alright, well, I can't believe we made it through that interrogation. That was ridiculous. I don't know what happened. I was just clicking random buttons at the end, honestly. But thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you again next time.